In today's video, we are going to explore and explain why many adult children of narcissists develop toxic levels of people-pleasing behaviors. This is a really important topic because many times the person who is the chronic people pleaser themselves will not fully understand why they have such a desire to please other people, especially their loved ones. And they also will not have a firm grasp of what they like or what they dislike. They are incredibly agreeable people. They seem to have no problems just going along with what everybody else likes or wants to do, and it's incredibly difficult to get someone with these tendencies to make any decision based on their needs and desires. So today we're going to dig into this topic and explain exactly why so many children of narcissists grow up to be serial people pleasers and why it's a good idea for them to recognize this pattern and break it once and for all. But first, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. So today we are talking about why so many adult children of narcissistic parents have developed severe and many times toxic people-pleasing behaviors. And we aren't just talking about a person who is easy to get along with and someone who is great at compromise. We are talking about people who feel completely uncomfortable with making any decisions on their own. In fact, making decisions based on their wishes and desires can be crippling for someone like this. It's not uncommon for these types of chronic people pleasers to be completely out of touch with what they want or what they are opposed to. They are much more comfortable with someone else making all the decisions based on everyone else's desires and interests. So why does this happen to so many adult children of narcissists? So the first reason an adult child of a narcissist develops toxic people-pleasing behaviors is because a narcissistic parent prioritizes their wishes and desires over everyone else's, including their own children. So narcissistic parents genuinely do not care about the wishes and desires of their children. Those things don't normally cross their mind. Not only that, but narcissists truly believe that their viewpoint, opinion, perspective, and beliefs are the absolute right ones, and there is no need to ever contemplate or consider the opinions or viewpoints of other people because they have all the answers. So children of narcissists certainly weren't ever asked their opinion. And if at any time they did ever vocalize their wishes or opinion that, God forbid, differed from what their narcissistic parent wanted or believed, then more than likely this child would have been criticized, humiliated, ridiculed, and rejected for speaking up, and swiftly put into his or her place by their disordered parent. For example, in my own life, during my childhood and well into my adulthood, anytime I dared speak up about a topic or viewpoint that I had, I was quickly told that nobody cared what I thought, and essentially I was to keep my mouth shut. And after years and years of that, it has a detrimental effect on the person who is treated like this. For many years, well into my adulthood, I was either scared to speak up, like literally frightened if I said a word, I'd get my head ripped off, or I was paranoid that if I said anything, I would be shamed, teased, humiliated, and degraded for whatever my opinion or perspective was about the topic. And this is a very common experience for children of narcissists. And eventually, you just get to the point where you keep your mouth shut and adopt accordingly in all situations. It conditions a person to slowly devalue and disregard their own wishes and desires, and to adopt a belief that the viewpoints and wishes of others are also indeed their own. Next, another reason this happens so often is because a narcissistic parent's love is conditional. Completely 100% conditional. The only time a child of a narcissist is shown any love, affection, or positive attention is if they are pleasing their narcissistic parent. And unfortunately, because of this, children of narcissists start to tie their worth and value directly to how well they please and appease their narcissistic parent. And again, this starts very, very early in life. Children of narcissists don't ever know anything different. These children are not ever encouraged to explore their own likes and dislikes or form their own opinions or beliefs about things. These children are told what those things are by their narcissistic parent. There is no room nor any form of a nurturing environment for a child of a narcissist to explore and develop their own viewpoints or beliefs about anything. And if a child did start to develop an alternative opinion to that of their narcissistic parent, then that child would swiftly endure some form of punishment. So the narcissistic parent might verbally abuse the child, or ignore this child and withhold love and affection, or give the child the silent treatment. But there would be a negative consequence that this child would be subjected to by the narcissistic parent. This child would get the message loud and clear that their parent is extremely displeased with their behavior. So the child learns very quickly not to ever do those things, and that their value is directly connected to keeping that parent pleased and happy at all times. And again, as the years go on, you begin to truly believe that keeping everyone else happy at all times, doing what everyone else wants, is also what makes you truly happy and is exactly what you want. Children in normal, healthy families develop their own unique beliefs, interests, opinions, and have a connection to that part of themselves. Children of narcissists never had that opportunity, and therefore, as adults, genuinely don't know what their personal, unique beliefs and wishes and desires are. Next, people-pleasing behaviors develop in children raised by narcissists because they were made to feel guilt and shame if they were not pleasing their narcissistic parent. I don't think people realize how powerful guilt and shame are at manipulating and ultimately controlling other people. And narcissists are brilliant at utilizing guilt and shame to groom and mold their children into exactly what they want them to be. No child wants to feel like they let their parent down or somehow didn't fulfill their obligations expected of them by their parents. And nobody wants to feel shame, obviously. That's one of the absolute worst feelings or emotions in the world, and humans in general will do all kinds of things to avoid feeling shame and guilt. And that goes double for children. And nobody knows that more than a pathological and manipulative narcissist. And if you think they are above using that on their own children, you need to think again, because I'm here to tell you, these types of parents use it all the time. And what happens because of this, the child loses contact with that part of themselves. Essentially, the authentic person that should have and would have developed had the child not been subjected to this form of abuse and manipulation gets buried. And again, as the years pass, that part of yourself disappears. So as an adult, you really and truly do not know what truly pleases you. That part of you was smothered by your narcissistic parent years and years ago. I realize this may be hard for some of you to believe who were raised in healthy households, but it's absolutely true. Children raised by narcissists were never given the opportunity or the freedom to explore and develop into our own individual, unique person with our own likes and dislikes and opinions and beliefs and perspectives. This is also why making decisions can be absolutely crippling for us, because everything we did, every move we made was judged and critiqued and directed by our narcissistic parent. So we learn very, very early in life to follow the leader, fall in line, do as you're told, and go with the flow. So now let's talk about ways to combat this if you yourself are dealing with this chronic and toxic people-pleasing behaviors and feel like you will be stuck people-pleasing forever. As a recovering people-pleaser myself, I will tell you what worked for me. First, you have to distance yourself from narcissistic, judgmental, and critical people, or you won't feel free to explore these things. That's number one. And number two, you have to silence the internalized, judgmental inner critic that devalues everything you do. And then what I did, especially the first year that I was really focused on my healing, is I started asking myself, what do you like? What don't you like? How do you truly feel in this situation? And if I didn't know, I started exploring different options. For example, I started eating all kinds of different foods, reading all kinds of different books, watching all kinds of different movies, and listening to all kinds of different perspectives. Essentially, I spent a solid year exploring what I liked and what I didn't like. From food to fashion to hairstyles to books to politics, you name it. I gave my inner child the opportunity and the freedom to examine and explore all kinds of different things, and the encouragement to let her own opinions, likes and dislikes, beliefs and perspectives develop authentically. And if you were raised by a narcissistic parent and have become a compulsive people pleaser, I hope that you will give your inner child the same opportunity and encouragement. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.